Broadcasting from the heart of Georgia, this Urban America Today, Atlanta. With your host, Shante Cochran and Roy Evans. We're taking the news from Jennifer Scott and Lionel Donovan. And now, Urban America Today, Atlanta.
And now, back to Urban America Today.
All right, everybody. Hey there, how you doing? People, go ahead and grab one of those microphones. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. See, it's not on yet. You got to turn it on. Right? You got to turn it on. Get the on button. The on button.
Yes.
There it is.
And you don't stop. Let's go.
Hey, y'all, we're down here live at Bar 1 in Atlanta, 687 Memorial Drive. Of course, this is Urban America Today, Atlanta. We're getting ready to get into our Relationship 101 series. Second part, we've got the ladies that are going to be coming on and giving their opinions and all that kind of
stuff. Let them come on. They don't have nothing to say. They don't have nothing to say.
See, he started because I got to sit here with him too, man, you know.
I'm just saying. For those got nothing to say. I see them two girls on the side.
See,
whatever.
We're going to start off by introducing the man. This is Mr. Peter Thomas, who is the owner of Bar 1. Thank you. Let us come out, man. How you been?
Thank you so much. I'm here.
Cool. You know, we want to talk about something. Before we really get into some stuff, we have a couple of things that we got to take care of, some of our housekeeping things. Y'all know how this works. Go ahead and call your people up. Get on your Twitters. Get on your Facebooks. Let them know that we are live. You can check us out at myjbn.com/UAT-ATL, and you can get us live there. Also, we're doing our Twitter, the hashtag. We're not tweeting.
We're tweeting.
I'm tweeting. They're tweeting. I'm not doing either one of them. But the hashtag is ScandalUAT. So hashtag ScandalUAT. She changed it. So yeah, and that's the one we made the tag for. Right, see? So we're waiting. Yolanda's on her way. She's of course going to be doing our dry buzz stuff for us this evening. But let's get into your week, man. You know, we saw y'all had some shooting going on here earlier this week and some different things. How's your week been?
Well, we shot Love and Hip Hop here last night.
Right.
So that was cool.
Okay.
I probably can't get into a lot of location. You know what I'm saying? But I give them a pass. You know what I'm saying? You know, so, and of course this Sunday past was our debut for the sixth season of The Atlanta Housewife.
Right.
And I think without a doubt, it's going to be the best season that the show ever had.
Wow, okay.
You know, it opened up on Sunday with a 3.1 million viewers. 3.1 million household tuned in for it, and we went up against Black Girl Rock, who had a 2.7. So if they weren't on, we probably would have break all kind of records.
Yeah, that is true. That is definitely true. So, yeah, man, well, that's cool. So, you know, tell us a little bit about Bar 1. You know, your spot. We had JC on, but you know, this is your place. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about
Bar 1 is a concept I came up with around 3 years ago. It's strictly for African American. I don't care if other people come. Don't be offended. Okay, it's a soulful experience. You know, it's Caribbean tapas, the food, and the average age in here is around 36 years old.
Okay.
You know, I'm not saying it's strictly for African Americans, but that's why I created it.
But that's why
we didn't have anywhere to go. At a certain age, we kind of get, we can't go to the club because, we have arthritis and stuff like that, so we can't do the moves anymore. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I created this lounge, for our community to come and just chill.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And you know what? I understand you. I mean, totally. That's actually, we tell people all the time, the Jericho Broadcast Networks were created specifically for the African American community. Now, we don't mind other people watching. We don't mind y'all tuning in, check it out. But believe me, we're going to be true to our folks. And people, we share some heritage about my grandfather's from, one of my grandfathers from Jamaica. Yeah. And the others from the island. So my people are from the Caribbean. Okay. So I definitely understand that. My granddaddy always tell me that. So you tell me if I'm right. He both of them.
Yeah.
Would always tell me, boy, you make sure you tell people your granddaddy bought a plane ticket to get you, no books.
Yeah.
That was always. He said, I bought a plane ticket to get Leslie Mitchell.
Yes.
Michael Farrington. Love both of y'all. They passed away, but hey, they the reason I am who I am today. So.
American Airlines, 1973, December 18th.
There it is.
Represent.
There it is. All right. So you got Bar One. You said 3 years ago. You opened it up. All right.
Yes. And I mean, like it's in the Grand Park, Cabbagetown area.
Okay.
It's not too many of us in this area, but it's a destination spot.
Okay, cool.
People that watch the show, they actually, we do 1,000 people a week that walk through our door.
Oh wow, okay.
That's our average so far.
Oh wow, that's
every week.
Good.
Mostly on the weekend. On the weekend we'll probably do around between Friday, Saturday, and Sunday we'll probably do around 700, 800 people.
Oh man,
the week is slower.
Right.
To
be expected.
Yeah. But it's alive and well. We just had our 2-year anniversary on October 19th.
Okay.
And that's usually if you could reach your 2 years, you're gonna be all right for the next 4 or 5.
That's right. Most business fail within the first 2-3 years. So
exactly, it's like 70% that you might fail the first 12 months.
Right.
And then 50% the next 12.
The next 12. Okay.
Yeah, and if you pass that one, then you're down to around 30% going forward.
Okay. Well, that's good.
So we're in the 30% arena right now.
That's a good place to be. So with that being said, are there any other things you guys got going on? Any news?
Well, we actually opened Sports One in Charlotte for New Year's Eve of this year.
Okay.
And then Bar One is coming shortly next door in Charlotte for Valentine's weekend, just before the CIAA.
Okay, cool.
We have 2 venues next to each other.
Oh man! So as we're at the CIAA tournament, which we have been for the past 5 years, that means we have us a location to broadcast.
Oh, without a doubt.
In the evenings, y'all heard that. So all my Charlotte people, we got a lot of folks that are in the Charlotte area, and then people who travel for the CIAA all the time.
Yeah, it's taking me a little long, Charlotte, for the fact that we're trying to give something. We're trying to deliver a product that you guys have never actually seen before.
Okay.
On a certain level. Sports One in Charlotte is way better looking than Bar One here. We did it on a real budget. This one was a CB2 and IKEA, even though it's beautiful, but the one in Charlotte is a step above. Okay. So a long time coming, but it's going to be worth the wait.
All right, so that's Sports One. It's going to be downtown?
Yes, it's right at 521 College Street, right at the corner of College and 9th.
Okay.
A block away from my homeboy Restaurant Delta. So we're going to control that corridor downtown Charlotte.
Cool. Now, how far is that from the Bobcat Arena?
Literally 5 blocks walking.
That's it? Okay, yeah. Cool. That's not bad, man. I've been down there for the CIAA. So if you're right there in that area, man, it's gonna be on and
it's definitely without a doubt.
I'm sure y'all already gonna have some day parties and stuff.
CIAA, I got all the housewife coming up there, so it's gonna be off the chain.
All right,
we're working on 2 special artists right now to do performance over the weekend. Okay, it's gonna take it to another level.
All right,
we're not hip hop, by the way. Even though we represent it to the fullest, we're more the R&B joint. Doing CIAA.
So make sure you folks in the Charlotte area, those people who like to travel to the CIAA tournament, be on the lookout. Sports One and Bar One will both be open by the time, and we'll be there live. Holla, yeah, that's what we're working on. So let's do this, Gus. Let's go ahead and get ready to go to a break. We're going to go ahead and go to a break a little bit earlier and get ready to come back with a couple of ladies. We got some more folks coming in. But we're getting ready to get into this Relationships 101, man, and ask the ladies their questions.
Yes.
And I get to have fun and see what it's going to be about.
I tell you, they got nothing first. I'm not even paying them no mind.
We'll be back right after these messages.
Have lunch with us Monday through Friday. Try our hickory smoked barbecue chopped chicken, or a two-piece fried waffle with one signature side, bread, and a free drink, all for just $5.99. Visit any one of our locations all over Atlanta or online at thisisitbbq.com.
So the Samian features, once more, the GS 4200 model. It's manufactured in its number predecessor, and up to, 17% quieter. Naturally, it's available green beige. I'm sorry, I think I'd better take this. It's my wife and Novo. Hey, Pumpkin, what are you doing?
I'm Oogling.
Very funny. What?
Make the money!
Where's your mother?
Mom!
What?
I love you.
Out there now. From the press box to press row, the Mixed Structure is a major emphasis on HBCU sports. Don Ware will take you on a journey each week in the world of HBCU sports and pro sports. Yes, partners, let's welcome some of the most ball players insights. It's going to be one of the best matchups ever produced to show you visit us on the way. Boxsport.com. From the press box to press row, we are sports.
Okay, you can hear me now.
Holla at your boy. How y'all
Can you hear me
doing?
now?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Hey, everybody.
So we're here. I had to get a drink because it's about to get there.
Yeah, where's mine?
Welcome back to Bar One. We're here with Urban America today, Atlanta. Got our things going on, and again, make sure you send out to your people that we're on live, your Twitter, your Facebook, all that kind of stuff. myjbn.com/UATATL and hashtag scandal UAT, and that way you can get it. And I didn't change it up. Let the hashtag person.
Dry buzz.
Dry buzz.
I'll get her when she gets here.
Yeah, we get her when we get here. So, at this time, I'm going to introduce two of our young ladies who are going to be on our panel tonight, and they are going to be discussing some of the things that we talk about as it relates to Relationships 101, and getting in with their expectations as well as the do's and the don'ts of dating for the women from their perspective. And then, of course, that is going to mold itself and morph itself into other questions.
I like that word, morph.
In other comments.
It's
there
going
it
to
is.
morph.
It's going. It's wow, warning me already. So we're going to start here on my right, since we know the young lady. We're going to start with Miss Denna Lee. How you doing, Miss Denna?
Absolutely wonderful. How are you?
I am good. Glad that you're here. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
All right. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, my name is Denna Lee. I am a mother of a son who's 23 years old,
Okay.
currently in college, as well as myself.
Okay.
6 more classes to graduate. I'm almost there.
All right. What's your
Yes.
major?
Business and marketing management and project management.
Okay.
Healthcare finance.
Gotcha.
So,
You're a Capricorn with no. I'm sorry.
really not bad. No, I am a Leo.
Oh, Leah, when's your birthday?
I'm lying. It's August 12th.
Ha! Mine's August 31st. I'm a Virgo though.
Oh, yeah,
So,
you're a Virgo.
Yeah.
And basically that's it. Right now I'm just making my social buzz,
Okay.
doing my networking, getting ready to start my not-for-profit business.
Okay. Cool.
Getting ready to get some things going.
All right. Cool. All right. And to my left, a woman who really needs no introductions to the crew. This is Miss Tarra Jackson. She's not Madam Money tonight. She's just Tarra Jackson.
Oh, okay.
And we're going to let her tell us a little bit about herself before we get into the questions and everything.
I am an awesome, beautiful, God-fearing woman of God who's single by choice. Until God blesses me with the right man. He's had a sense of humor the past couple years, but we'll talk about that later. But I am a single mother of a 17-year-old, almost 18. Can't wait to get him out the house, so he can get a job, get an education, get a job, or create a job, and end up taking care of me. That's why we have kids, right? Right. Okay. So,
Okay, we'll
but
get
no,
to that one.
that's my heart. That's my son. So that's my most proud, or my most best, or most significant position that I could ever hold in my life as mother. I am previously an executive vice president of a financial institution. Been in the financial services industry for a while. Left that to pursue my dream in helping people on a global scale of educating them financially. I do a lot of social media management as well as talent management. So right now I'm having a good time doing what the hell I want to do. And so that's
Doing what
me.
she want to do.
I'm sorry. Yeah. It's
So,
PG
right.
rating.
As we get started tonight, the first thing I'd like to say is the views and opinions expressed
Oh God.
by the guests and other people that may come on and grab a
Preferably me.
microphone are not necessarily those of the Jericho Broadcast Networks, Sky City Media Group, Bar One, and or any of its affiliates or sponsors.
Or future affiliates or sponsors.
Right, or future affiliates.
Because y'all know how I do.
Sponsors.
Right.
Yes, we do. We really do. We really do. So
Yeah.
what we're going to do is we're going to start off with our first question.
Okay.
And our first question that we're getting into is this: is what are your expectations of a man? And we'll start with Tarra here and then we'll come back around. But what are your expectations of a man?
My expectations of a man is very simple, is to be a man, not to be a boy. My mama didn't teach me how to raise a grown-ass man. Oh, sorry, views and opinions. But she just didn't. So if you're a man, there are certain characteristics of a boy. Boy likes to play, likes to dabble, likes to play house, needs somebody to take care of him, and doesn't really want to work, whatever. My expectation is if you're a man, to be a man, take care of your business, to be honest. I do understand there's a lot of women that really can't deal with honesty. I guess, Denna and I know, because I know Denna, we're maybe cut from a different cloth. We actually prefer honesty. So if I'm doing something that's not attractive, I need to know that. A good friend will tell you that. Yeah, okay. Anyway, don't look at him. So, but honesty is very important for me. Communication is very important. If you can't communicate, the relationship probably is not going to last. So, and be about your word. I'm a strong thing. I trust what you say, but I believe what you do. And so I have weaned out a lot of men just by that principle alone. So that's a little bit of my expectations.
That doesn't sound too bad, guys. All right. So, Ms. Denna, how about you?
Well, for me, it starts with consistency. And
Okay.
consistency, what you start out doing, I expect you to continue. Good, bad, or indifferent. It starts with that. I'm an observer, so I watch. I'm going to watch before I even open my mouth and speak on anything, before it even gets to any level. I'm watching you. I'm watching your mood, your mannerism. Another expectation, I don't care to have a conversation via text. I don't care to be on the phone all day talking to you, because in the industry I work in, I'm constant communication with so many different things. So by the time it's wind down and I'm with that person, let's have a face-to-face, because I need to see the nonverbal. I don't need to hear you over the phone, because I can't see what you're saying. I need to know how you're looking at me, how you feeling about me. What really are your gestures? What are you really meaning?
Preach, girl.
My other expectation is, with a man, I expect you to be the man of the house. It doesn't matter. Money is always going to be a conversation, but if I'm getting it and you don't have it, let's get where you can get it. Okay, if it's always about baby mama, child support, always that issue, that's not where I am right now. I'm sorry, it's not meaning I won't wean somebody out, but are you handling your business? Are you consistent in that situation? Are you consistent with what you're doing and what you're saying? And I need to see it. I'm not the type of woman that's going to be with a person and you have a kid and then you get in a relationship and you don't see your kid. That's not me. I'm not that sister. I'm not her.
Okay.
That chick.
But like I said, consistency, communication, have my back. If I got your back and we're together, I expect you to. Love expects needs. So if I'm with you, you already know I had a bad day. You should be able to feel my spirit. You should be able to understand I had a bad day. I don't really want to talk. Let me decompress. Let me wind down a little bit before you start going in. You know,
okay.
And if the conversation is always about you and it's always about what's going on in your life, and you don't have room for me. So at what point am I in the relationship with that person?
Okay. So, as we talked about in morphing, and we'll get into that, of course, because being a moderator, I hear things, and I now have questions about some of the things. And I'm gonna start with you, Denna, because you brought it up. You talked about child support, because of course the primary focus that we're dealing with, folks, is that this is dating after the age of 35. So let's get real with what that honestly means from the beginning. Is that all of us have some sort of a baggage. You know, all of us have something. We have, you know, if you've made it to 35, I personally tell my female friends, if you meet a dude that's after the age of 35 that doesn't have any kids, has never been married, be very leery, because I mean, there's something to be said about the responsibility of having to take care of someone other than yourself.
Right.
Animals don't count, because you can let them die if you don't want them. So, you know, but you brought that up when you talked about the kids and different things. So how does that affect a relationship? Say a man is involved with you, but he does have kids. Let's start with the first part of the question. And is there a limit on how many kids that you're willing to deal with someone with based on the number of mothers?
Yes.
Okay.
And I said that for a reason, because that lets me know where you were in your life. Doesn't mean that's where you are now. For instance, you got 5 kids, you got 5 baby mamas. That means you're having a lot of unprotected sex.
Okay.
And then now you're not with anyone. So now there are 5 kids or 5 situations that are now in my life, because I'm not going to be, like I said, I'm not going to be with that person, and they're not there.
Okay.
Because you don't continue that generational situation, because the kids had no choice. They absolutely have no choice. My second husband, I'll say that, had 3, and it wasn't an issue because he provided. He was there. He was
okay.
But now let me slip.
She's like, hold up, wait a minute, stop now. Let's get everything right.
Those were some debated discussions.
Okay.
Only because he wanted to step away, because it was a lot of the baby mama drama. It was a lot of the child support. And I brought that up because it is a significant factor in relationships when you have, and you're trying to blend the family.
Right.
You have a lot of emotions there. The kids have emotional ties. Parents have emotional ties. The kids get connected. And then when it don't work and you're hopping from home to home and you got kids getting involved, that's a lot of emotions you're bringing in for a child to deal with that don't understand even why mom and dad are not together.
Already, okay. All right. I'm going to let you answer that question, ma'am.
Okay, what was the question again?
Is there a number? And actually, what is your number, though? Is there, because you said you dealt with someone that had 3.
Well, yeah, okay. My second one, he was married. He has divorced, and he had 2 by one and 1 by another one.
So these were for marriages?
No, he was only married twice. Right. So
okay.
he had another one in high school or whatever that happened, and the second one was through his marriage.
Okay.
But that still doesn't negate the fact that I don't know how much unprotected sex you have. But like I said, when you're producing children outside of that I get to make that choice.
Okay. So how many children or
like she said, it's not the number of children. One is the matter, are you providing for the number of children that you produce? Because you could have one and not provide for the child. Flashback to my baby daddy. But, I mean, you could have that situation there. Or you could have 3 or 4 and you provide for all 3. My only concern is the baby mama drama. Is it really baby mama drama? I don't tolerate a lot of nonsense. And so if they can't deal with it, or if it's going to cause that much havoc in there, I probably, unless I'm really in love, or if there's a return on my investment as far as emotionally, spiritually, and so forth, that we would tolerate that. I don't know if there is a number. I haven't met the person with that number. I just know if they have more than 2 baby mama dramas, they are probably treating their relationships like transactions. Transactions is one of those things where you do it and you're done with it and you move on. A relationship and building a relationship is a little bit more deeper, a little more vested interest. Now, he could have been married 3 or 4 times, but if he's been married 3 or 4 times, there is a common denominator. Exactly. Which is him, and he can't tell me that all 4 of his baby mamas are crazy. They might be, but that tells me who he chose. Now, he might have, got a good one with me, but
I was about to say, wait a minute, because
he just, he finally picked the right one, but that's what I'm saying. But I don't know if there is a number on there. I really look at the responsibility, and just like what Dina said, I don't ask to see the children or meet the children anytime soon. Like, no one is going to meet my son unless I know they're going to be in my life for a while.
Right.
I'm not in, he doesn't have that, uncles that come by. No, I don't do those uncles. Nobody is going to meet my child or come near my child unless I know there is something more significant. And at this point, there's only really been one person in his life that he's met, and we're not together, but it was a very significant relationship.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. I mean, that actually is interesting to hear, because I've heard women before say numbers. They put distinct numbers. If it's more than 2, it's a problem. But that's good to hear that it's the responsibility of it, because like you said, Tara, you could have 1 and not do anything with it, and and have 6, 7 and taking care of every last one of them and doing what he's supposed to do. I think, are we about ready for a break, you were saying? All right, we'll go ahead and go to break. We'll come back with the next question and get a little bit more in depth into some of that as we're talking about it. Because I've actually got a quote from Darren, who was on last week, that I'm going to bring up on the show. So stay tuned. We'll be back with more Urban America Today Atlanta right after this.
Monday through Friday. Try our hickory smoked barbecue chopped chicken or our two-piece fried wine with one signature side, bread, and a free drink. All for just $5.99. Visit any one of our locations all over Atlanta or online at thisisitbbq.com.
So the salient features, once more, the GS 4200 model. It's manufactured in its metal predecessor, and up to, 17% quieter. Naturally, it's available for green beige. I'm sorry, I think I'd better take this. It's my wife on vote. Hey, Pumpkin, what are you doing?
I'm Uberling.
Very funny. What?
Make the money!
Where's your mother? What?
I love you.
Watch out there now.
Deep conversation.
All right, guys, we are back live on Urban America Today, Atlanta, live from Bar 1, as we are here with Miss Tarra and Miss Denna, talking about relationships and ladies' expectations and some of the things that they've got going on as it relates to men. So let's morph into another question.
Okay.
But I heard something from there. Come on in, sweetheart. You can come on and do your job. This is live TV, but you working, and they need their stuff. So
Right. Mine is just water.
They've been Right.
Water.
What's your name, sweetheart?
Kamar. My name is Kamar.
Hi, Kamar.
Kamar, you gotta turn around and wave at the camera.
Hey.
There's Kamar. So Kamar's a
Kamar's
server.
my best friend today.
So
Yes.
we're getting that going.
She's giving me my water.
Getting their stuff. And
There you go.
and actually, can I get another ginger ale? And cranberry, actually. Bam.
Right.
That's how I do.
Ginger ale
What you know about that?
and cranberry.
So let's get into another part of that. One of the other things that you guys talked about. And I kind of want to go in, and Tara, I think you brought this up, and actually I think you may have reiterated it too. It's consistency. You always talk about consistency, and I know Dina made the statement, if you start doing it, continue to do it.
Right. Don't call me every day for 2 weeks and then all of a sudden just stop out of nowhere. If you start something, don't start something you can't finish.
Don't start something you can't finish?
Don't start you can't finish. If you were trying to get my attention and you call me every morning, text me every morning, communicate every morning, then all of a sudden you stop, I'm going to start thinking something's going on. I don't have your attention because you set that precedence. If that's not the precedence you want to maintain, or you just doing it, if you're just doing it to get me, be honest and be real, baby. I was just doing it to get your attention. I got you now, boo. I text you later. It's okay, but don't do it and then all of a sudden stop.
Okay. Dina, you feel the same way about that?
That's just an example.
Give me the question one more time. I'm sorry.
Yep, you got to use the microphone.
I'm sorry. Repeat the question.
Is consistency that important? Oh, she didn't get my cranberry juice. I was serious.
Oh, that's not here. You can have mine.
Oh, okay. She's like, whatever.
I'm just making a Tara. Y'all know what that is, right?
So, yes, consistency is...
Yeah. Consistency is extremely important to me because, again, you are your word. If we start off and everything's good and great, and we've built that communication, if your word is your word, your bond is your bond, that you have proven me your consistency. Don't change the game in the fourth quarter.
Okay.
It's working, so I need you to be consistently consistent.
Okay. So let's do, from an expectation standpoint, let's go ahead before we move on to the next part of the question.
Okay.
Let's categorize the expectations, your top three when you're dealing with a man. What are the top three expectations that you have? Let's start with you.
Spirituality.
Okay.
Communicative. And stability. Because of
So
course,
consistency
I
don't make
understand. I'm mad at money, so
consistency doesn't make the top three? Or would you consider that stability?
I mean, that's a part of the consistency is everything. It's just it encompasses everything. Don't tell me you go to church every Sunday while you're trying to get close to me, and then all of a sudden you just stop going to church. I mean, that's a part of spirituality. I mean, you don't have to go to church, but it's a part of consistency. Is part of everything. Consistent with your spirituality, consistency with your intellect. Don't read a book, try to impress me, and then I realize it ain't there. Sometimes y'all men know how to talk yourselves out of something. You know what I'm saying? Really, that's another discussion we need to have with the men and
that's
whatever.
a little bit later on.
But but those are my top three, and the financial stability thing that's just very important for me. That's one of my biggest fears, and I have to be real with myself with the fears as well. I don't need a man, I don't need a man to financially take care of me, but it's good when we are both at least able to maintain our financial stability, if it's to grow or build it together or whatever. I can't pull you up if I'm trying to go up as well. We can pull each other up there, but that's just very big for me right there.
Well, that is her profession. That's what she does. So, Ms. Dina, what are your top three?
My first is the relationship that person has with God. Yes. That he has with God. It's different when you tell me to pray for you than us pray together.
Right.
Okay.
That's very important. I walk in my faith. My faith is very important to me. My relationship with God is extremely, extremely important. Not that I was raised up so holy that I don't miss the mark. I didn't walk on water today. Tomorrow I probably won't. But I just think if we have a head, if we have that, we're gonna be able to make it, because we already know who we got in our corner, what we got backing us up, who is my God, and it's not a man. But again, you still have to have that relationship. I don't go to church every Sunday. I don't go to corporate prayer every Saturday, but I communicate consistently with my God, and that is a very important factor in my relationship, and that's why I've missed it both times. Both times I've missed it there. They played a role, and they're again not consistent. And then I'm pushing you. It's like rolling the log. Come on, let's go to church. Let's pray together. let's talk about it, but in there, it's not there.
Okay.
So that's the first. And second is financial stability and being able to hustle. You may not have to, you don't have to be a corporate attorney. You don't have to be a CFO or a CEO.
You don't have to have
a hustle.
Mm-hmm.
Get something. Do something. What are you doing? You cutting grass? What you doing? I mean, seriously,
I got you.
there is no shame when you got a family and you got kids that you got to take care of.
Come on.
Pride goes in the pocket. You have no pride. You have responsibilities.
Right.
So with that being said, I mean, you have to be able to make it. You have to be able to be willing to try, at least try.
Do whatever it takes.
And do what you got to do.
Okay.
And third again was, like I said, consistency and all of that. Don't do good today and then tomorrow, I'm like, okay, I ain't doing this no more. I had an artist and friend that was an artist, and the guy said I ain't supposed to use my hand. Really? You're not supposed to use your hand. You're an artist, but you got family and you got kids. Okay, that's not gonna work for me.
Okay. Now, actually, let's morph one real quick thing, because I'm going to bring Darren's comment up, but something that both of you said, and I have a question about this. If you're dating someone, say it's still the early part of the relationship,
Okay.
how are you about praying? And this is because both of you said spirituality was the first one. How are you about praying, that person praying with you? Are you okay if you're just dating? Say you haven't gotten, know you're serious, and I'll tell you why I asked you that. But go ahead.
Well, why are you? That's a loaded question. You're asking me for a reason. Because I mean, we could be.
No, I mean, what is your?
We could be friends. Like I just met an awesome young lady a few seconds ago, and if she's like, you know what, I need to pray with somebody, I don't have a problem with praying people. That if anything, that's attractive.
Okay.
If the man is sincere. If he's just doing and trying to impress me, that's different.
Okay.
But I don't have a problem with praying. That's actually very attractive for a man to be spiritual and understand that he needs corporate prayer to touch and agree with someone. And that's another way. That's another intimacy with a partner, is praying together. That's very intimate, especially with someone that you're very intimate with. That's a part of the intimacy in a relationship.
Okay. Denna?
Absolutely. I think I probably preached it a few seconds ago, but definitely, I don't want to have to be the strong person in that, because that man is the head of that household. So if you're the head of the household, you're already there.
Well, now I'm not talking about somebody that you've gotten that far with, that you definitely are in a deep relationship
in a
with.
dating stage.
Yeah.
Oh no, period. Prayer is.
Okay.
As a constant communication.
And I will tell you why I asked that question. I've actually dealt with some women, and it's because of what you just said, that prayer is a very intimate thing. And when one of my friends said, I'm not just allowing anybody to pray for me. I've got to know who that person is. I've got to definitely know who they're
I'm gonna put this out there. Everybody that's watching, pray for me. Pray my strength in the Lord. I don't care who you are. Okay. Pray for me.
Well, let's do this. I'm going to read the comment.
Okay.
And I'm going to let you guys. And now, he just did this today, so this wasn't like something I set up to kind of throw out there. But I do want to read this because I thought it was very interesting, and I did tell Darren. So if you're watching, bro, that I was going to let everybody know I'm going to give him credit for his quote, so that nobody want to jump on me.
Wow.
But no, it says, ladies, really, why are you with him if you can't trust him to lead you to the good life? Good brothers in waiting wanna know.
Okay, wait. What is the good life?
Yeah.
Well, see, good life is just a term. It's just, it's a good relationship. It's a good thing. It's not necessarily saying somebody gonna move you into the mansion.
It's the same one
That's irrelevant.
Of marriage, and then he did not want to get into another.
That's irrelevant to the question. That is irrelevant to the question.
Right.
Hello.
Right. Okay.
Thank you.
Focus.
It is irrelevant to the question because it is something that and the reason I'm bringing this up, and there were a lot of women who commented on it, that there are a lot of quote-unquote good men who feel that way. We made the comment last week when you guys were talking that it seems like that the women are dating this, as we say, at the same 12 dudes. Well, really, it's the same. Well, we'll say 7. The same 7 type of guys is what they're saying. But the men who really want to do something can't seem to get the attention
Okay, well,
of those good
and
women.
I have to disagree because
Okay.
most of those men that keep saying these women are dating the same 10, 12 dudes or whatever, those are usually looking for the dime pieces, and I always tell them, a lot of men are looking for dime pieces, but I'm $1 million bill. Not everybody that's looking for a dime piece can emotionally, spiritually, communicatively, intellectually afford or know how to manage $1 million bill. That's just real. And so when you say that, there's a whole lot of women out there that are looking for good men, but the women that you all are attracted to may not be looking for what they feel is a good thing.
Now, here's the interesting thing, because you say that, and I'm going to, as a moderator, play devil's advocate.
Oh, God.
That's what you do.
Right.
But here's the same question, because a lot of good men say the same thing about women. You want your Idris Elba, you want your Shamar Moore. If they're not looking like that, if they six-pack down and, you know, hey, no, come on, Tara, come on now, though.
I'm trying to tell you, he's making me have to readjust.
I'm putting it out there. I'm just asking you.
I'm going to have to put the microphone close to my mouth.
That happens, does it?
I don't care the size. I don't, you have to be attractive. Now, I've seen some men that may not be pretty to some women, but was extremely attractive. There's something about their spirit, and when they talked, they were very eloquent. They were very intellectual. Now, they weren't Idris Elba. They may have been Heavy D or Biggie Smalls when he had money, but, it really doesn't matter. What matters to me is, can you hold an intellectual conversation? Can I get a mental orgasm, people? Really? Can you intellectually stimulate me? Really? Because really, that's really, for a lot of women, that's what it comes down to. Other women, it's like, can you pay my bills? I'm not that chick. So maybe the women they're looking for is the wrong type of women they're looking for. I don't know.
You said the thing, and this is actually a term that I tell people all the time. And men are notoriously guilty of this, that there may be women that we will find attractive that we are not attracted to. And that's human nature, though. You're going to find some people, and everybody's not going to be attracted to everybody. We're going to let Dina answer before we get too deep into that, though. You wanted to say something? Because she looked like she was about to hit me in the head with the mic.
She was about to hit me.
No.
Did she just say that out loud? Yeah, I know.
No, I agree to disagree, because it's not always the six-pack guy. It's not. For me, it's how do you treat me? And I say that from a different standpoint, because I'm a domestic abuse survivor.
Okay.
I was in a very volatile situation. I'm here today only by testimony, only by God. So with that being said, you can't go from sugar to Satan in a second. And you got a comment was made last week, a lot of emotional baggage. Men carry it too. Men carry baggage, but the thing of it is are you willing, or do you have the emotional capability of walking that person through that? Are you willing to? How do you treat me in the situation? I can't, are you a person who's caring enough to be willing to do that? And it decide, people, it just, that's superficial. You can have a six-pack today and have a beer gut tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? You can be broke today and tomorrow hit the lotto. Trust me, I've seen it happen. But, it's just where you are in life. And if you're a gold digger, men are gold diggers too. Come on. Let's not get it twisted. People say that it's only women out here gold diggers. I don't want yours. I want my own. If you got yours, let's get it together and let's make it happen. Let's do it together. Let's grind it out together. And it's hard, because jealousy is sad when jealousy turns into something else.
And I dated someone who was jealous of me. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying?
It's not women. It's just not women.
Exactly. And what the problem was is that he wanted to wait to propose or marry until he got it. And I'm like, dude, that's me being a gold digger. If I want to wait until you have it to be with you, that's a gold digger. I want to be there for you to help you get to it, so we get to it together. So I don't know what that man thing is. I don't know if it's a man thing, or maybe he just didn't want to marry me, or I don't know. But that baffles my mind when men say, I just ain't got it right yet.
I understand a man has an ego and there's a lot of pride, but pride comes before the fall. You have to stay humble.
Now, actually, you know what? I'm going to jump in on that. We morphing again because of your conversation, and we're going to return. I've got like a Polaroid memory. I won't say it's photographic all the way, because some stuff be a little blurry.
I'm sure I didn't say it.
But yeah, see, last week.
I don't know what you're talking about.
you got saved. So now we'll have to have this discussion when we come back. But we are going to get into that right here in bar one.
I don't know
With the relationship 101 over the bag of the day, y'all. We'll be back in a minute.
Have lunch with us Monday through Friday. Try our hickory smoked barbecue chopped chicken or our two-piece fried rice with one signature side, bread, and a free drink. All for just $5.99. Visit any one of our locations all over Atlanta or order online at thisisitbbq.com.
So the salient features, once more, the GS 4200 model. It's manufactured in its member predecessor and up to, 17% quieter. Naturally, it's available green beige. I'm sorry, I think I'd better take this. It's my wife and Uvu. Hey, Pumpkin, what are you doing?
I'm Uberling.
Very funny. What?
Make the money!
Where's your mother?
Mom!
What?
I love you.
Watch out there now. Seafood. Have lunch with us Monday through Friday. Try our hickory smoked barbecue chopped chicken or our two-piece fried rice with one signature side, bread, and a free drink. All for just $5.99. Visit any one of our locations all over Atlanta or order online at thisisitbbq.com.
Do you need business cards, CD inserts, flyers, posters, or rack cards to promote your business or event? Well, if so, there's only one place to go. All Graphics and Printing. Check them out on the web at allgraphicsandprinting.com or give them a call at 407-532-4777. All Graphics and Printing. Shipping all across the country. And the official flyer and business card provider from Jericho Broadcast Network. Hello, everybody. Hello, and welcome back to Urban America Today, Atlanta, live from Bar 1,
Hey, we have to do
687
Memorial Drive.
Memorial Drive.
Yeah. We have to remember, everybody, you can send in your questions, comments.
Yes.
Especially on Twitter. Please tweet. Hashtag scandal UAT. Don't tweet. Make sure.
It's still twitting to me.
Whatever. Okay.
So, as I said, we're going to kind of roll back a little bit based on your situation, what you were just talking about. And we had the discussion last week that was brought up about traditional roles.
Okay, your point.
Calm down. That's why I just said, just let me get to it. But you just talked about a gentleman who, as you said it, in his mind, wanted to be in that traditional role.
I didn't say that. That's not what I said.
Well,
I
okay,
said that
you
he wanted to make sure that he had certain things in order before he proposed to me.
And that is traditionally how men handled marriage and relationships. You didn't get married until you had the job that you wanted, the place that you were secure and living. And
maybe that was on Leave It to Beaver.
See, sweet, okay,
but,
well, there you go.
My family, my grandfather actually, my grandfather worked to help my grandmother get her degree. And this is while they were married. They didn't have it. He was in the military. They didn't really have it. But he worked so she can get her degree. She got her degree, got a job at that university. While he was in school, she was the breadwinner. So they helped each other. Then when he got a job at the same university. So they built each other up. They built the foundation together. Now, I've seen on Leave It to Beaver and Happy Days and all that stuff, even Good Times,
let me ask you a question. Let me ask
she
you a
helped
question.
the brother out.
Hold on, let me ask you a question. Using the term traditional then, what is or what are traditional roles?
The traditional the traditional roles is if you're going to be the head of the household. I could be the breadwinner, and we're actually going to be talking about that on the show next week. I can be, he said, she said,
I know.
Plug. But we're going to talk about the fact that what if she is the breadwinner? Now, even though I was the breadwinner or could be the breadwinner, I need to trust that he is being led by God. If I am with a man that's being led by God and he has faith in God and he is listening to God, I have no problem with him being the head. He is the head. He can make head decisions. That's fine because I know I am the neck. And when these young girls understand the power of being the neck, you can control the flexibility of the head. You control whether the head has a headache or whether it feels really good. Because if you are pain in the neck, you cause a headache and you cause a body ache. So when you understand the power of being the neck, no, you don't have to make the decisions all the time. You don't have to be up front all the time. You can be in your role as the neck, but that's the most powerful part of the body. Because if the neck can't move, the head can't move. That's the reality, and that's what I'm saying. You can be the man and make head decisions led by God, but if you're not led by God and you just want to be a king, but you really acting like a little boy, I don't do that.
Okay, so that's how traditional is for you. Gus, let's do something real quick before we go on. Pull the mics down just a little bit for me.
Oh, I'm loud, I know.
The input on the mics, pull those down just a little bit.
I get excited.
Yes, she does.
I do.
But for you, Denna, what are traditional roles as far as you're concerned?
I can only speak on how I was raised. I was raised by my grandparents. Mother wasn't there, father wasn't there. Mama had me, grandmama raised me. So she raised me old school. So in growing up, I was help yarding, help plowing chickens, and I'm a country girl.
Okay.
So what I saw and what is tradition now today, people laugh at me because if I cook, sit down and eat. I'm not cooking a hot meal for you to grab it and go. I'm not. I cooked. Right. You know, sit down and eat. Let's talk. And what I saw my grandmother do was when she cooked, she fixed Daddy his plate and took it to him before any kids ate. And so, I mean, I was raised with 9 aunts and uncles, and it was 4 kids in there. So before anybody could touch any of the food, you know, we smell it cooking, and nobody was gonna eat until Daddy got home from work. So that is what I see as tradition, and that's just how I was molded and framed. So when I'm in a relationship and we're doing that, tradition is Christmas, holidays, family comes together.
Okay.
We do things as a family unit, and family sticks together.
Right.
You don't. I mean, I can talk about my family, but you not. We can be on
Right.
outs. We can be on outs, and I'll be ready
call
to
them names.
tell.
No, you can't,
But guess
no.
what? You know, you not getting ready to say nothing about
Right.
nobody, and that's what family do. And we come together, and then we
Okay.
can still argue. So that's what tradition is.
But and like you said, tradition is different for everyone. You know, everybody has a different tradition. Like, yeah, my grandmother, she cooks and, you know, cooks the plate. So you can tell if a woman really, really loves a man if she fixes his plate. I mean, if I don't care nothing about you, babe, you know, food's in the kitchen or whatever, if I'm not feeling you, to go fix your plate. But if I'm loving on you and I'm feeling you, you got my nose wide open, I will fix your plate, baby, what you want. You want me to taste it for you?
Let's take this back a little bit more.
But
don't ask me what I'm cooking and you ain't brought nothing.
What?
We wanna go
Did y'all hear that? Don't ask me what's for dinner and you didn't buy no groceries. What?
Don't come to my house and you eating something and you ain't call me and ask me did I want something. Where did they do this at?
Okay, so hold on. Well, wait a minute. Let's delve into this a little bit.
Oh yeah.
When you say that, Denna, are you referring to somebody that you are in a relationship with?
I'm not in a relationship. I'm single.
No. I'm asking with this the mindset that you're going into with the statement that you just made. You're basing that on being in a relationship with someone when you're saying, "Don't ask me what I'm cooking if you ain't brought nothing."
That's in any relationship. I have friends. I have people that I communicate with. I have associates.
Okay, hold up now. So we ain't talking about friends. This is relationships 101. Y'all, let me put it in the vernacular for folks to understand. We talk about somebody you booed up with.
No. Because if I'm booed up with you, we have talked about the expectations.
Okay.
When we booed up, we already know what's up. You know, shit ain't nothing in the refrigerator. What's up? We're gonna do.
Right.
Okay.
Well, see, not all of us really have those conversations, or we weren't taught how to have those conversations. I didn't know how to have those conversations until later on. Like now, I can have that conversation about expectations. When I fell in love with the Marine, and y'all, if you listen to He Said, She Said, y'all will know what I'm talking about when I talk about the Marine. Bless his heart.
But do we have to have a conversation when you know you're hungry?
There's
nothing in the refrigerator.
Before you say anything else, you have to have a conversation about everything.
Yeah,
that is what people don't do.
It has to happen.
You have to start having conversations. That's what this whole series is about. It's about people understanding that you've got to talk about everything.
Okay, well, how about this?
So
we gotta have good credit. We gotta balance our checkbook. But if nobody taught us how to do it, we're not gonna do it right. And a lot of us weren't raised up in families where we had the conversations where, you know, my grandmother eventually said, "Baby, no, this is what you need to do. Baby, no." You know, but right now you have, like my mom had me when she was 15.
Mm-hmm. Right.
We didn't have that conversation about how to do that.
You have these young girls, the moms are raising. I mean, my grandmother raised me because my mother had me at a young age, at 15. So now you have the mamas and the grandmamas partying together.
Right. You're absolutely right. But that's one of the things that we're going to get into. We're going to be getting ready to go to a break in a little bit, but we're going to have another segment that we're going to do. But we've got to understand something, that there are still those conversations, and that's the whole point where we talk about after 35, everybody's got baggage. Everybody's got emotional issues. Everybody's got something. And that's where we have to start becoming very, very transparent.
Right.
And that, from what I've seen, is the biggest issue.
I agree, but if you have to be willing to share that with somebody, and then you have to be able to trust that person with that, because those are some deep things that you're going to reveal to people, and then you don't turn around and use it and throw it in my face.
Okay.
Well, and you know what? But that takes time in building that trust with the person.
Well, what I'm going to do, because there was this young lady, my BFF Gerald Robinson, that I do He Said, She Said with. He had this video of this young lady that was talking about the traditional roles of women, and she was sharing this with young ladies like as a big sister. Okay. And we really need to understand that. She was saying, baby, you have to cook for your man. It's not just about the food. It's about the fact that you took the time. That's a symbol of love to a man. Some men go home to mama, not just go to mama because they want mama's cooking, not just to eat, because that's love that's been produced to them.
Don't nobody cook yams like Connie Mitchell.
Well, see, I ain't gonna cook them like that, but still, but I'm gonna put that on my page, and I'll tell you all what my page are. But we need to look at it maybe next week, or when we do the relationship series, we can actually play that. It's 10 minutes, but it's worth the 10 minutes. Okay. So I'm gonna put that out there.
What we'll do is we'll put it on the page prior to the show, so that people can see it, so that we don't take all that time doing it.
Okay, yeah, that'd be a good idea.
We have to have these conversations, and I'm glad. That was one of the things I'm really glad to hear you even say that, because that is something that, and it's not just women, it's men as well. A lot of our men don't see the gender roles, or don't know the little things that will make the difference in a woman. I think we talked about it in one of the episodes, before, when I was married, and I think we're about to go to break, so we'll have to discuss that when we come back.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing. We're going to break.
And
we'll talk a little bit more about it, and then we will also get into the do's and the don'ts that they have for dating, and continue that conversation right here. Urban America Today, Atlanta, y'all. We'll be right back.
Part 1.
Have lunch with us Monday through Friday. Try our hickory smoked barbecue chopped chicken or our 2-piece fried rice with one signature side, bread, and a free drink. All for just $5.99. Visit any one of our locations all over Atlanta or order online at thisisitbbq.com.
So the salient features, once more, the GS 4200 model. It's manufactured in the Senator process, and up to, 17% quieter. Naturally, it's available green beige. I'm sorry, I think I'd better take this. It's my wife and Uvo. Hey, Pumpkin, what are you doing?
I'm Uvoing.
Very funny. What?
Make the money!
Where's your mother?
Mom!
What?
I love you.
Watch out there now. seafood. Have lunch with us Monday through Friday. Try our hickory smoked barbecue chopped chicken or our 2-piece fried waffle with one signature side, bread, and a free drink. All for just $5.99. Visit any one of our locations all over Atlanta or order online at mississippibbq.com.
Do you need business cards, CD inserts, flyers, posters, or rag cards to promote your business or event? Well, if so, there's only one place to go. All Graphics and Printing. Check them out on the web at allgraphicsandprinting.com or give them a call at 407-532-4777. All Graphics and Printing. Shipping all across the country. And the official flyer and business card provider of Jericho Broadcast Network. Everybody, hello and welcome back. Well, we're back here at Bar 1.
Shout out to Dryer Buzz.
Yep, Miss Lattimore has made her way into the building. As you all can see, we have someone else sitting with us now. Peter's back, and he was roped into this as we continue with the conversation. Now, wait, I wasn't about to say something.
I have no idea.
I just had a brain fart because I was about to say something, wasn't I?
Hey.
Before we went to break, I really was, but oh well. Let's jump to the next question. So the next part of what we're dealing with Relationships 101 is the do's and the don'ts that these ladies have for dating. What are the
You start with her. Mine's gonna be a minute.
Wow. So Miss Dina, what are some of the do's and the don'ts that you have for men in dating?
Wow. You can't be married.
Oh, okay.
That helps.
I mean, I can see how you forget that you're married. You know,
wow.
You go home to your wife. You know, sometimes you might forget that, but that's a don't for me. I don't do that. I'm not recycling men.
It's time for me to leave.
He's like, I'm disqualified.
A do is be assertive, but you don't have to be so hard. You can be assertive, but you don't every situation you don't have to be so aggressive. Every situation treated different because it's dependent upon the situation.
Okay, see, hold up. So we're gonna stop because we're gonna morph as we go on with this one because that's one of those catch-22s, one of those conundrums. You guys want a man to be you want a man to be assertive, but you're saying if this is especially in dating, that means we're still trying to get to know each other. So what that means is that I don't know when you want me to be assertive and when you don't want me to be assertive.
We'll tell you when to stop.
So Yolanda's like, why are you facing this direction? So, but no, because really, because like I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna bring this up because we're talking to try to get you guys some understanding. I have that problem. Mm-hmm. Like I said, my people from the islands. I am aggressive when I wake up. I get up out of bed aggressively. So I am an aggressive person by nature. That is just me. That is how I function. If I see it, I want it, I'm going to get it. If I want to do it, I'm letting you know. Okay. Point blank, period, end of discussion.
Okay.
So how do I know to pull back? How do I know to say, okay, well, what? How am I supposed to know that?
A good woman will tell you. A good woman will tell you and be able to have that conversation with you.
Okay.
All that means a good woman would tell you. A bad woman can't tell you?
No, I would say a person with good communication skills.
Okay.
Nah, dude.
I think that.
Did you tell her to speak English?
No, I spoke English. I said what I said.
Talking about? You need to speak English. An intelligent woman.
A good woman, which is intelligent. A good woman is intelligent.
A good woman that don't mean intelligent, baby.
What?
Okay, it doesn't mean intelligent.
Who asked him to?
Yeah, who asked him?
You did.
Who asked him?
That was me.
First of all,
you're supposed to be on my team, man.
All right.
Come on.
She's right when she said she don't want no married man because she ain't supposed to be sleeping with somebody else's property.
Absolutely.
All right. Number two, if he's too assertive. Now, all of us sitting at this table is over 40. The dude over 40 is kind of set in his way already. Okay? If you meet a mild-mannered dude, that's what you're looking for. You don't want nobody who's... Assertive means that he knows exactly what he wants.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's what assertive means when you're over 40.
Okay.
I'm just saying. And don't be taking the mic until the assertive dude want to give it back to you.
See, exactly. The assertive dude is not going to hand the mic over.
No, he's not.
Boom! Guess who stepped in the room?
We're going to hold up.
Lord.
We're going to hold
This is
up.
supposed to be our show. What happened, right?
So that's...
Okay, let me clarify when I say assertive. When I'm saying assertive, I do need you to be assertive. I need you to be aggressive on certain things.
Yeah, when
But
you're taking your
again-
panties off, you need them to be...
Wow.
When you're taking your
He's
drawers off.
absolutely right. I'm going to need you to do
You
that.
need them to be really
I'm going to need you to do that.
When he grab your ass and say, come here, baby, you need them to be aggressive.
Give me some.
When do you need them not to be aggressive?
Yeah, what
Let's
you
talk
say?
about that.
That one.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did I get myself into?
Pineapples. We have a safe word. Pineapples.
So,
Apple.
yeah.
Well, completely lost my train of thought. When I'm saying assertive, okay, if we're having a heated debate, okay, your words should not come out as Scud missiles. Be strategic. If we're gonna have a healthy debate, if we're gonna have and I say debate, I'm using my words wisely because a debate can be an argument. It's how you phrase it, it's how you word it.
Okay.
I'm putting a positive spin on the argument. But if you're gonna be aggressive don't be a Scud missile. Be a sharpshooter. Get your point across, and then let me marinate on that for a minute, and let me be willing to change, and mold me, and let me think about it for a minute. But don't every time it's always a constant combat fight. You know, I'm always in a war. That's what I'm saying. Assertive. You can be assertive in what you believe in.
Okay.
And that can be.
I think what she's saying, and correct me if I'm wrong. I don't mind you being a lion, roar, king of the jungle, whatever. But I need you to respect my touch. I need you to respect my touch. Yeah, you gonna cuss everybody out in the building, but don't do that to me. No, be respectful for me. Calm down just a little bit for me.
Ladies,
Okay,
hold up.
I'm not. No, I'm just saying that for me then.
No.
They missing it, but hold on, because both of you are missing the point that I just made,
But
though.
that's why we're saying we're communicating.
We're-
So what
right.
is your point?
What is your point?
This is when you are dating. If this is our, if this, sweetie, if this, listen to what I'm saying. If this is our second date, right? If this is our second date,
You
if
didn't
we're
put
having
that
this-
second date
yes, I
parameter on
did.
there.
Hello.
I didn't hear that.
Thank you.
Did you say second?
Yes, she did.
All right. I ain't hear that one, but okay.
If this is our second date, and but you actually answered, but y'all started adding too much in, so I wanted to actually bring
we
you back.
talked our way out of it.
So right, I wanted to bring you back to your point because you hit it and then you
And I
ran
missed.
right over it. You backed up and ran over
I
it.
was
3 or
showing
4
what
more
you men
times.
do a lot. No, just kidding. Just kidding.
It's
Just kidding. Don't
communication.
Facebook me, y'all.
You have to be able to tell me that. You have to give me time because first off, I'm not going to know you like that. That's why we're spending this time together. So I can pick up your mannerisms. So I can understand how you react to certain things. But if it's our second date and you telling me don't be too assertive, well, I'm going to tell you from the jump that when we're in that, I'm like, listen, if I'm about it, I'm really going to do it, and I'm going to go ahead and do this because my daughter doesn't know that I'm on the air live right now, so now she'll know that, and she'll text me or call me a little bit later.
Hey, Brittany.
But what we're going to do, you've got to be able to let us know that information, and you both said it. You've got to communicate that to him.
Okay.
You've got to give us that option to say, hey, you know what? That was a little bit. I needed you to back up at that
That's
point.
what that touch
So-
is. When I say that touch, that could be communication. Like, dude,
And that's why I say you have to
It's
tell
just like,
us
it's
that.
just like Martin. I don't know if y'all saw that with Martin and Gina was like, look, you can tell everybody to get out the house. You can do whatever. Just, for me, just don't do that to me.
Martin is a bad example for because that was first off, it was a character, so
I'm just telling you.
that's like me holding Olivia Pope up as the type of woman we looking for.
Oh, Oh, well, it was until, that drama with those two white men. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it was drama with the first white man.
Well, it was.
It wasn't with the two white men. It was with the first one.
Y'all know I Scandalisa. She did that.
Keep it real. Scandal is racially ambiguous. It's not. There's not white people, black people. It was supposed to be just people.
Just men and women, right?
Money, power, and sex. Okay.
Right.
She did that. But anyway, back to your point.
Yeah.
Is it my turn to answer now?
Yes, it is.
Okay, great. Do be responsible. Be respectful. I would have to say do be intellectual, but I know that's a hard thing for some people. But do let's be real, really? Come on. So, but do be responsible with your stuff, and be respectful to me and to other people. Just be respectful. Don't lie. Just what I respect, even though Tommy Bottoms plucked my ever loving. What I love about him.
Did he?
You think? But what I love about Tommy Bottoms, that's my boy. I love him. What I love about him, he was real. He was honest. Exactly. He allowed me to make the decision on whether I wanted to be with him or not.
Absolutely.
Don't lie in front and then I'm falling in love with your lie and then all of a sudden
your representative.
Just don't do that.
The one you send out.
Don't do that because you may be hood. He may be arrogant and broke, but I may be. Oh, I'm sorry.
Bring it down.
He may be arrogant and broke. But because he was honest enough, I can then choose to say, okay, I'm still going to get with that. Don't lie. Don't do that.
Okay.
But see, he said that was the problem.
Mike.
Well, that's his problem.
But no, he said that was the problem. He do tell women his truth.
Yeah.
And they really want to get with him after that.
But I appreciate that he was honest.
Oh, you know what? I know what else we needed to talk about. I'm sorry, because I know we're going to be running a little bit short, so I want to get into the comment that you made because it actually goes into that. The statement that was being made is about people being, or I'm assuming it was women, being thirsty. So I'm going to let Tara get into this first because
you ain't got to let me get in.
Yes, because this was your idea.
That's a new topic for me. I just heard thirsty about 3 weeks ago.
So, okay, because
I just realized
that.
Peter, where have you been living?
Obviously.
What village in Africa is that?
I'm not that thirsty.
Okay. You been drinking a lot of water?
I've been drinking Tarras, but still, no. But I'm not thirsty for what they're talking about. Thirsty.
Oh, you're not thirsty for men?
No. I'm not thirsty.
Can somebody define? I need somebody to define thirsty for me.
Thirsty is when somebody need it real bad.
Excuse me. Need what?
Okay. Whatever is it that they're seeking.
But see, it's
not just men.
You know what? But here's my question with that. Hold on, because that's what I actually wanted to get at. Does that make it a bad thing if you see something? Again, if you see something that you want, that you really want, and you're gonna put the effort in to do what it takes to get that.
If it's that definition, I'm thirsty before making money. I'm all the way.
That's not it. When they use thirsty, does that mean like me and my man hanging out at the bar, but there's some girls over there that obviously checking us out. We're checking them out, and then he's gonna get all retarded to get their attention and act all out of his way, which is borderline ridiculous. That's thirsty. And when he's acting like,
that's what we used to call somebody being a buster.
Oh yeah,
that's a buster.
Yeah, I'm not.
It's a groupie. It's like there's men in the room. You just want one of them. You're gonna do whatever it takes to just end up
to be the center of attention.
That's what I think thirsty is. You don't discriminate. It don't matter. You just hungry right now. You want one.
Hungry and
thirsty. I thought that thirsty was she's desperate to do anything that the man wants to get what she needs. Well, see, I'm saying I just found it out. I'm just saying, and that's what I said. And in that respect, I'm not thirsty. I'm not that thirsty. Now, if you're talking about thirsty for making money, I'm hella thirsty. But thirsty to do whatever it takes to do whatever to a man, whatever to get him to pay my bills or whatever. Shit, I ain't that thirsty. Call me a fucking Campbell.
The views and opinions expressed by the guests are not those necessarily of the Jericho Broadcast Network, Sky City Media Group, Ball One, and or any of its affiliates.
This is a grown-up program.
Thank you.
It's people over 40. We can say whatever the fuck we want to say.
There you go. I'm not 40 yet, but I'm going to say what the F I want to say. Yeah. Anyway,
So I'm gonna get back to my discussion.
I love that dude, man.
As we were saying, but you know, it's interesting to me. Oh, and Baron, just so you know, I've already given your quote and gave you credit for it.
We had a ball.
And they got you. They got you on that one.
You're gonna need to see the recorded part of that.
But you know, we really got to do, like I said. So we got your do's and don'ts. So we're kind of just going into a little potpourri before we get ready to head on out of here.
Potpourri. You and your big ass word. I'm sorry.
It's AT words, baby. So you know, we've got to understand that this whole situation is really boils down to just communicating. We've got to be. I had another friend who, a young lady named Nadia, who did a post earlier today, and she was saying, no, not that Nadia.
Oh, it's another one. Okay.
Yeah, not another Nadia. And she actually asked a similar question that we were talking about honesty. And it is amazing, and I can honestly say this, and I want to get you guys' reaction as ladies being here. We kind of touched on it a little bit. It has been amazing to me since I've been in Atlanta, I've dated, and me being honest, because I don't know any other way to be. Like he said, I am who I'm going to be. Mm-hmm. I am, yes, going to make adjustments for whatever relationship and the person that I'm with, but trust me, this is me.
Right.
So the issue now that we're dealing with is when I come out, and I don't care if it's the first or second date. I don't date randomly just to be dating. I don't casually date. I am dating. I'm trying to date with a purpose.
Okay.
So I'm gonna tell you, look, baby girl, here it is. You know, I'm giving you everything short of my blood type.
Well, let's be real.
All that.
And
so they saying that, hold on, they saying that's too much. They say that's too honest. When I give, but it, baby girl, the first 2 or 3, I want to know.
That might be too soon, but
all that you need to get to know on these first couple dates. Why is this not somebody that you already have some kind of?
No, and that's my point. We're doing these conversations. That's what I'm saying. We're doing all of this through conversation. But I've had right, well, before the dates, you know, I've had women who say it's too much.
Well, okay. Well, I just have this. I have this question, and I know we say we want people to be honest, but really, let's be real. Do we really want honesty? Do we really? We say that we do. We do. But really, because really, when Tommy Bowles was being honest, I wasn't feeling that when he said, you know, I'm arrogant and broke and I, you know, whatever. I wanted him to be honest, but really, dude, I was really wanting him to say something else. Really, I was really hoping he would say something else. So I respect his honesty now, but when we really look at it, do you want a man to come up to you and say, you know what, I'm arrogant and broke and I need you to buy me a drink, so can we get together? Do we really want that? But I'm saying, right. I mean, we got to be real with ourselves. When you say you want honesty, when honesty comes,
right.
Don't be mad. Exactly. Don't be mad when honesty comes.
Right. No, well, let me just say this too, and I got to give the other brother a plug that was in the room that night, because I was so taken with him. Tommy was loud, okay, and then the brother next to Tommy, he was semi-loud. But then there was a brother who said he was part of the 31%. He was ready to walk down the aisle again. He was quiet. He loved to touch. He was on. And the women that was sitting over there, I was like, okay, y'all missing a good brother.
Sorry. He didn't meet the age requirement.
But the minute I pointed him out, then he got their attention.
No, but he was like, I was like, really, I'm about to get his number for real. I'm about to buy him a drink. He didn't meet the age requirement.
The age requirement.
What is your age? Well, see, that's for you. So what's your age requirement?
Honesty to age. What happened?
I'm being honest. I
so
have an
that's
age
the
requirement.
So Dina, go ahead.
My age requirement is at least 38 all the way up to 53.
Oh, okay. Dina, go ahead. It's your turn now.
Damn, I made it.
Aren't you happy?
Go ahead.
Honestly, I love older men with that salt and pepper mustache. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Thank you. Go ahead, Dina.
I think honesty is important. Then you give the person the respect of making a decision, and informed decision. Right. They can decide to stay in it or leave or deal with it on whatever level they decide that they want to deal with it. Tell me what I'm dealing with first. Don't have me driving in your car and somebody busting my window, shooting rocks. I mean, what? You know, just let me know what's up. Yes, honesty is extremely important.
It's important, but I have found that some women don't believe the truth.
Right, and
some women just don't believe the truth. Like if somebody met Tommy Bottoms and really didn't know him, and he said,
you didn't believe it first.
I did not want to believe him.
It's a joke. I'm like,
I thought that was the joke. I did not want to believe. I was like, yeah, no,
say what you really want to say.
Like really, seriously. He's like, no, serious. Some of us, we hear the truth, we don't want to believe the truth.
And this is where I wanted to bring in with you with that particular point, because at the point of the truth, and the sister Chloe just made the statement. She's like, it gives her the ability to decide what she wants to do, because the next part of that is not just getting the surface of the truth. Find out why. I'm going to give you a perfect example, and this is the story I was going to go into last week when we talked about this. And I ran into this. Had a life-changing experience in 2008. Had a lot of stuff, lost everything, had to restart over again. And so there was a 3-year period where I didn't really have anything. I had just bought myself the truck that I wanted. I had my Durango. Between my truck and everything I had, it was $1,000 a month to take care of just the vehicle. So I had to make a choice because I had lost my job and everything. Do I want to keep the truck or do I want to feed my children? Okay, somebody tells me, well, you don't need to date during this time. I'm like, so I got to be lonely during this? No, listen, because I asked a couple of young ladies out on dates, and I went through probably 6 before I got to one that went past the surface. I'm gonna tell you up front. Right. I'm like, sweetheart, I ain't got no car. I said, but I want to go out to dinner. Here's the kicker now. I'm going to still pay for dinner, and I'm going to pay for gas. And we together, so wait a minute, and I'm going to pump. There was only one young lady who turned around and said, well, why don't you have your car now? And boom, we had another conversation. She was like, cool. We ended up going out on that date, and I'm going to shout my girl Allison out. Allison, she's done stuff with the show before. We're great friends now. Right. But what did she do? She did not stop at the surface, because and that's just what I talked about with Tommy last week. Right. He's giving you the raw, unadulterated point of where he is in his life now. Right. A lot of men do that, and we are that honest, because the next thing we want to know is, are you willing to see why or where we are or why we're at that place and what we want?
I got a question. Did he actually come up and said, I'm arrogant and broke?
Yes. You need to go back and look at the tape.
I wouldn't buy that nigga shit.
Yes.
Keep it moving, mother.
He said, why are you single? He said, because I'm arrogant and poor and those who don't work well together.
That should never be the opening line. That should come later. That should come at least 2 hours later. That should be opening. Yeah, at least 2 hours later.
No, that was like 10 seconds.
But see, you know what?
He said that in 10 seconds? Yes. He have issues.
That was
but here's the
issues.
No, here's the thing, though, that you have to realize. Because let me tell you why that works for him. Because see, we're talking about somebody first off. No. Because this is the other.
Did it work for him?
This is the other point that I was making.
Did he come up to you and say that, or somebody else?
He's on the show.
He's somebody that has a level of celebrity. So when he's out somewhere, he says that. They've already seen him, so he's not talking to somebody that he's trying to holler at.
Yeah.
He's talking to somebody that's approached him.
Okay.
He's talking to somebody that's seen him do his thing. And it's like, yo, hold up. I'm going to let you know now before we get started.
I'm arrogant and I'm broke.
It is what it is.
Well, you know, when I first...
And that's my point.
Hold up. When I first met my wife, I didn't have it like that. And I told her straight up, because she got paper and I didn't. I said, I'm extremely ambitious. I'm on my way back up. I don't get it like that right now. I know we meet because I'm trying to lease your car, but I'm really checking for you. And it worked.
See, exactly. Honestly, but that's the point. It works with and he had, you know what the term you should use, an intelligent woman, because that means she was able to look past that. Exactly. I've been told before that my dreams are too big by women I was out on a date with. Right. So of course I knew those were the ones I needed to walk away from.
Yeah, you need to walk away from that.
Because I'm like, don't ever tell me that my dreams are too big.
Yeah, I don't say what women y'all keep meeting for real. I mean,
baby, I've done it.
How is somebody gonna say your dreams are too big? Really?
Hold on, let me say something about that, because it's funny for me to hear you guys make that statement about the time. Because believe me, this is across the spectrum. I'm talking about women who are college educated, multiple degrees. I'm talking about women who work at Burger King, you know, who got customer service jobs.
How do you end up on a date with somebody who doesn't know how ambitious you are and what you are doing and trying to accomplish?
You just gotta have your head. You gotta have your head in the sand not to know that I'm doing it. So, I mean,
but you ending up on the dates with these people.
But that's I mean, because you don't meet people in all of the same. But no, that's my point. You still don't meet people in all the same places. I don't meet all of the women that I deal with via my business or my work. We may run into people in other places. We may meet on a social network. Okay. So what I'm saying to you is, I'm not saying all of the women that I've dealt with are that way, but I am amazed at how many women in the Atlanta area have said that to me. You know, the other thing I get, and we're going to have to get ready to close the show out, but that intro closes when we finish. But so hold up. But the other thing that I heard, I'm too nice. Me and Darren talked about this before. I'm too nice. Oh, I had one female who got upset with me, and this was the last time we went out because I wouldn't stop opening the door for her.
What the? Oh.
And I'm
really
again. This is a woman who is college. This is a woman who is college educated. She had a master's.
But
so this is my point. This is, you guys keep saying that. But the thing is, I don't know that about you. Hold on, listen. I don't know that about you until we get further into conversation, because it didn't start bothering her until the second
conversation
date.
Before you date.
Baby girl, you've got to go out. That's where you go out for, is to have those conversations. How are you going to bring up the conversation? Yolanda, let me ask you this. How am I supposed to find out on a telephone conversation that you don't want me opening the door for you? That you don't want? No, we didn't. We're not. Yolanda, listen to what you're saying.
You need to have more conversation before you go out on the date.
Listen to what you just said. How am I? I'm gonna bring up. We're gonna be talking on the phone.
Talk on the phone, yeah. Talk on the phone.
Yolanda, let me finish the question. So I'm gonna be talking on the phone. And I'm gonna be like, so I'm gonna open the door for you every time we get out. Is that a problem?
What's wrong with saying that?
Well, my question is,
okay, Yolanda.
Conversation.
Okay, you simply say hold on. We about to close out, but Yolanda, really, that's it, because my expectation is that you do open my door for me all the time. So that's not a conversation I need to have.
My daughter.
That's what my grandfather taught me.
So my expectation is, and so when I find out that she does not have that expectation, like I said, that was our last date. Because I don't want, it's an itch in my butt. And I said the other word earlier, but I'm gonna say it again.
I cannot say that anymore.
I cannot stand to go to a gas station and watch a woman get out of the car, go pay for the gas, and then come with dudes sitting in the front seat on the phone.
No,
that bothers me.
Can I say it? Bitch, that's your fault. But no, I'm gonna need no. Okay.
Yolanda, so just
wait a minute, hold on. I don't know when this became the Roy show, but we have to eventually close out.
We're about to close out.
We're about to close out. We need to go to
That's why we can't. We gotta get ready to get out. That's why I was telling you.
So let me closing remarks. Turn into the Roy show.
The conclusion is Roy needs to have more conversation.
No, it's not. Don't start it yet. Nobody communicates. Nobody. The point is that that's what we have to do. But there's only so much communication that you're going to find out. And this is my point, because we were going back to, like Chloe said, it's the fact that you've got to get deeper than just the surface.
You got to get deeper than the surface. But Big Papa is looking at us like, y'all have to wrap this shit up. Okay, so we're going to have the last words.
So, Tara, thank you. Let me finish.
Okay, go on, finish.
So what?
I got it till 10 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
So, okay, well.
How you doing?
Well, if they do that, well, let's do this. Let's go to a break real quick, go to a break.
We're going to reset and come back.
We'll see when we come back.
We're going to fix Roy's life.
No, it's not fixing. It's not fixing Roy's life.
If you want to date Roy, Scandal UAT.
Stop, hold up.
Hashtag Scandal UAT.
Hey, Roy.
No, this is the point that the ladies have to get to. We're going to be back, but it's about communicating and getting that information. I'll tell y'all.
Applications for
Seafood. Have lunch with us Monday through Friday. Try our hickory smoked barbecue chopped chicken or our two-piece fried white with one signature side, bread, and a free drink. All for just $5.99. Visit any one of our locations all over Atlanta or order online at thisisitbbq.com.
So the salient features, once more, the GS 4200 model. It's manufactured in the Senegal process, and up to, 17% quieter. Naturally, it's available green beige. I'm sorry, I think I better take this. It's my wife on vote. Hey, Pumpkin, what are you doing?
I'm Uberling.
Very funny. What?
Make the money!
Where's your mother?
Mom!
What?
I love you.
Watch out there now. Seafood. Have lunch with us Monday through Friday. Try our hickory smoked barbecue chopped chicken or our two-piece fried white with one signature side, bread, and a free drink. All for just $5.99. Visit any one of our locations all over Atlanta or order online at thisisitbbq.com.
Do you need business cards, CD inserts, flyers, posters, or rack cards to promote your business or event? Well, if so, there's only one place to go. All Graphics and Printing. Check them out on the web at allgraphicsandprinting.com or give them a call at 407-532-4777. All Graphics and Printing. Shipping all across the country. And the official flyer and business card provider for the Jericho Broadcast Network. Down for a minute.
All right, hashtag.
No.
UAT, and if you want to date Roy,
date Roy.
Date Roy.
Let's really stop that right now. But no, let's really get into the point, because the real issue is about communicating with people, and that's what this series is about. It's about us finding the opportunities and the chances to really sit down and get deeper past the, come on there, sweetie, you're doing your job. We keep telling you, don't worry about it, baby girl. You ain't worried about it. With the camera, not worried about you. It's not a situation where, like you said, we're after the age of 35, so we've all got to deal with the things that everybody has to deal with. You got to find that individual and say, you know what, this is the person I'm willing to take the time to help them unpack their baggage or to help them carry their baggage, whatever it takes to deal with it, right, or let it go, just get it gone. But you've got to be willing to communicate, and that's all I'm saying with that is you've got to look at it, and we have to realize, Chloe made, am I saying that right? Right. Chloe made the point again. She's like, everybody, and JC said the same thing. People are just different. Everybody's raised differently. We have different expectations. Right. And there are some expectations that I have of myself that I refuse to not do. Because I set an example for my son. My son does things because he saw me do them. And so if I deal with the woman who wants me to change that, right, I at that moment, I know I have to step away. I mean, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to let Yolanda say everything. I had someone tell me one time, I know all men cheat, so I'm good with that.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, whoa, okay, see, I'm not going to date you, one, because I don't want my daughters thinking that's right.
Exactly, because that's not
And then the other part of it is, that's setting me up that she's always going to think, because it's already in her mind that all men do that. So no matter what I do, it's going to be there. So you have to know where your limitations of who you are and who you can deal with. So Ms. Latimer, what were you going to say other than hashtag that?
Hashtag date Roy. Roy, this is Roy, everybody. But here's the thing: everybody agrees that there needs to be more communication.
Right.
What we need to agree on is where do we communicate so that we don't end up after so many dates feeling like we wasted our time. So where do we communicate before we feel like we wasted our time?
So before you go to, Dina mentioned before you came here is that what's important to her is not just having a conversation over the phone. We need to have some conversations face to face because I need to see your body language because you can tell me anything. I tell people all the time that you may BS for a living. I have a PhD in BS. So I can hear it a mile away. I can sniff it and see it a mile away. But I want to see your facial expressions. I want to see your body language. I want to see if you really
get to a point where you don't feel. We don't want you to feel like the first and second date, was a burden to you. That was part of the communication. Keep it lighthearted and be able to decide. Okay, well, this is not a fit.
Well, see,
and walk away. Right. But don't walk away bitter.
Well,
I 110% agree with that because sometimes you can bring a lot to a person who's already in a transition. If this person's tolerance level can't hold that capacity, then you already know, right. Because it's going to show. The conversation's going to get less. You're just going to know.
Right.
But again, I mean, it's like it's too heavy for a Saturday night. You're going out and you're like, damn, I got everything's going on. Okay. Right. Is anything good happening in your life? Do you have anything positive to say? It's too heavy all the time.
Well, see, hold on, because here's the difference in that now. Because if you're talking about somebody that's constantly and everything they talk about is negative, then that's an issue with that individual.
No, I'm talking about life situations. And
right,
life is real.
Right.
Life is real. I'm not negating the fact that life is real. I've been through some things that probably your average person would probably have lost their mind. But I have a reason to smile. But at some point, you have to pull your straps up and deal with it. Right. And then know, like whoever told you that it was you shouldn't be dating in this transition time. That's on that person that decides to deal with that. But then you bring it in such a manageable way that give that person the opportunity to decide, do I want to deal with all this?
Right, and that's my point. And you do that, Yolanda. That's the point, though. You can't do all. There's only so much you can talk to or talk about on the phone. Because first off, if you're on the phone, like I said, because the young lady that I told you about, when I tell you that we had multiple 3-hour conversations,
wow.
We were talking about some of everything, which was making it great.
Right.
Because it wasn't a question and answer period. It was just it was a conversation, and things just kept moving and moving. But it was when we got to the date that she started seeing, because, like I said, we're talking is one thing. I need to see your behaviors.
Right.
I need to see how you function.
I said that.
And you have to do that.
I said that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I agree with you.
Okay.
And that's the point, that you have to spend that time with people. Now, here's a reality of life. Your attraction is something that normally will happen very quickly, because attraction really is nothing more than a chemical reaction between two people. And so your pheromones, say what you want to, pheromones are real, all that stuff is real. So we're attracted to each other. Okay, there's that physical connection. So yeah, no, we did. Initially when we first met, it was like boom, ooh, she's cute, ooh, he cute, ooh, let's talk. That's why we started the conversation. But that's what then ends up happening, because it is more. Because it is more than just physical.
Just curious, when did this become the Roy
No,
show?
it's not Tara. Stop saying that. Because the point is,
Tara.
I was about to say what you said, because the next part of that is can you stimulate me mentally? Can we then have those conversations?
Okay. Wait a minute.
I said it.
Tara, okay, listen. You said that. Tara said that. You said that. But how can you get to that point when, again, this person is bringing all of this to you, and all the time it's a 2-hour conversation about...
I'm gonna cut you off, because that's the point. That's baggage. That's not baggage. That's somebody going to the luggage department at Sears and throwing everything at you. Anybody that just shows you that person's personality.
Right.
Because normally y'all think that men don't listen. Trust me, we really hear everything.
Really do.
We really do. And we listen to y'all. And you said it earlier. Y'all assume based on these answers that you give or that you see, and that's where the problem comes in. Because we're very simple. Y'all said it last week. We're going to say it again. We're going to continue to say it. Normally, unless a man is some mom out there, he's just a hoe, I'm sorry. We're real. We're going to be real with it. Yes, there are guys out there, but your average man is going to tell you how he feels. If he tell you he don't like the blue dress, if you say, baby, do you like the dress? He's like, no, I don't like it. Don't get mad. He ain't saying he don't like it because it's blue. He don't like that dress. Stop adding more stuff onto what he's saying. So then when you do that, that communication becomes more about your issues, about what you think is the problem, as opposed to what he really is seeing. So like JC said about it with me opening the door, that was an expectation that I had.
Hashtag date Roy.
And I have that too.
Right. So Tara, but that's my point. With Tara, it wouldn't have been an issue.
Okay, so why are you and Tara dating?
What?
What the?
Okay, so, and as we were saying, back to the whole point about the expectations.
You get your mic taken away from yours.
Right. Please give her glass.
Really? Ooh, you need a scandal wine glass. That's
give her glass.
Go in it. Let's go for
it. Let me see. What time is it? It's 9 o'clock. We are going to get ready to go ahead and close out. So what we're going to do?
Why is he rushing us? Is what
we're gonna let you guys.
I had last week to 9:30. What's the problem?
We're gonna let y'all.
How did I get in this? I was just minding my business.
We're gonna let you know. We're gonna continue. We're gonna let you do your closing thing first, and then we'll come in. So say your last point about the overall topic that you would like to say.
Basically, it's communication. If you have an aggressive discussion, aka argument, fight fair. No holds barred. Walk away with integrity. Do not leave it. It doesn't have to end bitter. You can be grown about situations, and everything is not always about the other person. And when you're in a relationship or you're trying to establish one, that's why it's called a relationship. You can have a relationship with yourself, but I'm just saying, you do what you do. But if you're gonna have that conversation with a person, include that person in the relationship. Don't make it always be about you. There's so many other things in a relationship that you can enjoy. Bungee jumping, rock climbing. It doesn't have to be so hard. Enjoy the relationship, but get to that point and know what that other person wants, but communicate.
And to piggyback real quick on Dina's point, if you are dealing with somebody that every conversation that you all have is all about them, guess what?
Run. It's all about them.
Chloe said it best. I know how to deal with them.
Run.
And deuces. Because you're right. That is, a relationship should be about two people. And ladies, if y'all dealing with a man that don't do nothing but talk about himself, normally he metrosexual.
Wow.
I ain't say homosexual now because it's different.
Dance machines in the house.
If he's metrosexual, the problem with that is he probably a mama's boy.
What's up, dance machine?
He's probably a mama's boy. So let's go.
Okay.
Tara, your turn.
I'm not going to speak for all the women in the world. I'm just going to speak for myself. I require some mental stimulation. I was serious about the mental orgasm. It really doesn't take much but a little bit of intellect. Haven't found that many people in Atlanta, Georgia that can qualify. Let's be real. Met a lot, but really.
Wait a minute. So I'm going to stop you and I'm going to ask you your question.
You said closing remarks.
I did, but we won't keep it going because he said 9:30. Hello, thank you.
Supposed to be relationship.
But listen, no, you just said that.
Let's be real now.
Tara, hold on, because you just said something. So repeat what you just said.
Which part?
Because I want the last thing you just said.
There's not that many.
Right, and what was this question that you guys were asking me earlier? Well, who are these men that you're dealing with? Because I can guarantee you, I know 4 right now in the room. So where are the men that you are dealing with?
Obviously, I'm not dating them.
Exactly. So y'all were fussing at me about
I'm just saying.
What, right? Really? That was it. See, okay, she like, oh man, he got you. He right. But okay, go ahead and finish. So go ahead.
I mean, you can't say there's at least 4. I'm not dating them yet, but I'm just saying.
But see, okay.
I don't know.
So why
I just said that I require mental stimulation.
There you go. Go ahead,
Hashtag date Tara. Apply within. I don't know what else to say. But that's where I require some form of intelligence. Let's have fun. Let's have an intellectual conversation. And I promise you, really?
I can break you.
Is it that difficult? Is it that hard?
Go ahead and finish.
And really, I'm gonna make it. If you make it about me, I'm gonna make it about you. And more than likely, I'm gonna make it about you. And it's when it's that mutual response. I want to know about you, really, because I'm probably Googling you anyway. So I just want to see if what you say matches up with what I find. Okay. And I need you to be okay with that. If you don't have anything to hide, then you ain't gonna be mad. Google me. TarraJackson.com. TARRA Jackson.com. Right. But that is a way to get to me as well. Go to www.TarraJackson.com. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. I'm there. Hashtag date Tara. All right. So
let me let Dina go ahead. And say what she was about to say. Go ahead, sweetheart.
I completely lost my train of thought.
Hashtag date Dina.
No, I'm good. No, trust me. I'm at a point in my life. I'm good. I got some goals, some things I got to accomplish. Unless you are really not bringing a distraction to me, I don't have the time. I'm sorry. It may sound brutal, may sound vicious.
You're being honest about where you are. You're being honest about where you are.
A lot of people, oh, you got another man? No, it's not that. It's not that at all.
Boom, kaboom.
So,
right.
All right. So here's, and I'm gonna end with this point. Actually, we still gotta let Yolanda. I'm gonna let Yolanda say something. So yeah, I know.
Here's what I think about dating and relationship debates and things like that. Well, I'm gonna put it in housing terms. If you put yourself on the market, okay, you still just getting a bunch of browsers. Stop having open house.
Give me some.
Stop having open house so that you can get to a buyer. If you're getting a bunch of browsers and no takers, it might just be you. You might have to do some fixing up. You know, you might have to change some things, do some curb appeal, all of that. Curb appeal. You know, it's just that simple. If you've been on the market a while, it might just be you.
And that is
just be you. Single, like with me, the reason why I'm probably still single is because I haven't really put myself on the market. I have been more consumed with making money than, you know, being available for a man right now, and I'm okay with that. But I'm open to it, but I don't go out to clubs. I don't go looking for a man. I'm not thirsty. So if that's, you know, what that means. Now, if I go somewhere and I find, you know, and I'm sitting somewhere and I have a conversation with an attractive man, I'm not just talking about looks, but mentally stimulating attractive man, we could probably do some things. But I'm not trying to be all naked to get a man to attract me, because that's probably the man I do not want to get with. It's really not.
So
I said probably. My bad. It's not the man I want. Thank you. See, that's why Drive Bug is in the house. Thank you. Curb appeal.
So here's the thing, and we're going to get into this as we continue the Relationship 101 series. The next session is actually going to be where we bring the men and women together.
Are we going to have security?
Yes, we will.
We might.
Yes, we will that day. Because we have to get to a point. We talk about communication. Communication is just the vehicle, because if there's no understanding, there's never any real communication.
And all you're getting, get understanding.
So we have to get that in relationships. We have to be willing to We have to be willing to take people at who they are and look at what they have to carry. Like I said, we're all at a point in our lives when we talk about people who are over the age of 35, where we all have something to deal with. We all have issues. We all have things that we have to take care of. Right? We all have history.
Absolutely.
The question is our future together, or are we willing to make our future together?
And there's no
Because that's
sense
it.
in doing a relationship series and you not end up with a date, Roy.
Oh my.
And so
We're going to close out.
Yeah, I'm gonna give a shout out to Gus and Cameron, man. Thank y'all for doing what y'all do.
Good job. Good job.
We're gonna get on to close out.
Dance Machine in the house.
Stay tuned.
Derek in the house.
Stay tuned to the Facebook page. With the
Derek, come on, look at all GQ.
We'll see y'all later.
What?